Hey everyone, can you see me fine? Like, my camera is a bit low. No, high. Okay, so for this stream, I'm trying to do the posing, and on the last stream I noticed one thing was missing, where she had a cylinder, maybe a capsule kind of shape at the end. So I'm gonna make that part and then go on to like actually do the posing. So let me just get the shape. It's more like a syringe kind of like shape. Yeah, something like this. Good evening. Well, it's like 6:30 in Japan, but like, yeah. No, it's in the morning, by the way. It needs to be a bit more thinner. So before I actually do the posing, since I'm using a couple of things like a ray mesh and the like technique where I need to do the live booleans before I get the actual like shape of the armor. So I'm gonna separate the mesh so I can pose them precisely where I want them. That should be fine. Yep. Then I just need to do the opposite side as well, and I'm gonna put some details afterwards, but like it's not a big deal now. So what I'm talking about is this one, where I have the entire like armor inside and her body as well. So it's a separate subtool, but since the details are pushed outside, it looks like a separate object, but in fact it's not. So I need to subtract the body part. So I need to bring this down so I can actually see, not this one. So I just need to go to the bottom and make this, yeah, easy to subtract. And now I just need to subtract the body. And I don't need anything else, so I just need to put this in a folder called body, like this. And then let me see the results. So it's gonna be like this, right? And then, so I just need to do the Boolean folder, so I get the results. And for just in case, I'm gonna save the, well, I do have the ZPR file, so it's not needed. Okay. So if you're going through the process and if you didn't save your folder, it's a time to save now, because you're going to change a couple of things in the folder and you're going to pose it. So usually you want to have the like data before you pose and after you pose. So yeah, you better have both. Okay, so this is the result. And since this is like subtracted, it's not really a clean mesh, right? Then what you need is to like store this current situation and then apply ZBrush. Yeah, it is a bit tricky. So it's better to like separate your parts and then make sure it's easier to pose. And on the last stream I did with the Japanese stream, I went through the same process with the mech girl I was making, and that was a bit tricky, but like because I have a lot of components. But yeah, if you get used to it, it's not that hard. But it just takes time, like. And then you just need to project back the details because you stored by pressing Control and then clicking on the history. Now you can use project history. So it's looking at the history position and then looking at the details from there, and it's going to project to the current mesh. So you can use this to your advantage. It takes a bit of time. And done. And maybe another time with a bit of subdivisions. I'm gonna like do the details again anyways, but like you get the idea. No, you don't need the poly paints. I'm just gonna paint it in black and then color it afterwards again if I need it. It's more rough design, not what I need. Usually, before I pose, I don't really go into details. After I pose, I can go into details because it's not gonna move afterwards, or you don't need to tweak, or you don't need to keep anything. And especially these parts here. Oh, it's taking time. So if you can see my cursor, maybe not, the cables you can see on the leg part, it's going to be hard to move around. So it's better to like split it or like take into consideration that you can just eliminate it afterwards, and then you can recreate them. But like these parts will be deformed a lot, so it's easier to just like eliminate them or like recreate them afterwards. So I'm talking about this part here. So if I bend my body like having them like move forward, then the cables need to follow. So those parts needs to be considered. I can just basically paint in black. And I can just get the body design, delete the folder, delete the original mesh, something like this. And let me see what I did. Well, when you use array mesh, it's easy to see where you use the array mesh by using the polyframe and then using BPR. So if you use polyframe and BPR, you can see it going half transparent. Oh. I think it was this. Oh, did I confirm this one? Weird. Oh, Oh, it's confirmed. Okay, so since I don't seem to be using array mesh anymore, so if you're using array mesh, it's going to be semi-transparent, so you can check if your mesh is using array mesh or not. I think I don't need this one. This one is just a shoe. I'm checking if I used any weird methods. Don't think I used any array meshes on the top. Yeah, looks like fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to pose them, but I'm thinking about the pose, but like I don't think I really need. I may not need the left side because I'm gonna pose her like she has one mantis blade out and one tucked in. So I'm thinking about like not having one side. Yeah, I do have a ray mesh. Yeah. Okay, then I just need to eliminate this. Need to eliminate this. Let me see. What did I turn array mesh for? Oh, no. Wait, let me check. Oh yeah, so if you enable polyframe, the other side of the array mesh doesn't really show. So you can see that the left side is showing the like polygons and showing the colors of the polygroups, but the right side is not showing, right? But if you use BPR, it's going to show. So you just need to check by pressing the polyframe, and then you can go through and check if any mesh is using array mesh by using that method. I'm remembering things incorrectly, sorry. Okay, so I just need to do this, and okay, let's go through the pose. I just need to save the data before I do the posing. So Mantis BP. Hello. I do want to recreate the face because I like I don't know. It feels like a bit stylized for me, like right now. Okay, so I just need to go through the posing first and then recreate some things. Let's hope nothing goes wrong. Okay. So first I want to like split the polygons so it's easy to control, and I just need to like group off a couple of things. Like usually when you pose something, you don't really need the entire like head to be a separate part, so I just need to like combine them, and usually you just need to like make it into a single part because you're not really gonna pose them individually. So you want to try to like make it as simple as possible. Same for these. Maybe this could be separate, but yeah, this could be separate. This could be tagged along this one. This could be just separate. Yeah. Something like this. Well, some people like to pose first and then sculpt, so it's not really uncommon to do. Like for example, if you look at James Cain, he likes to do the entire posing, and then he doesn't really use symmetry in his like sculpt. So people like that, well, crazy people like that, do that kind of like stuff. But yeah, I'm a sane person, so I'm trying to make some things as much as possible in symmetry. But yeah, there's people like that. So okay, I'm thinking this could be separated as well, because it's going to be left and right, and that should be fine. Yep. Okay, so I did the basic process, and now I'm trying to go through the posing process. So I just need to separate the legs, body. The benefit to this is that you don't really need to care about the original polygroups, because it's going to be chucked away anyway, even if you change the polygroups on the transpose master. So you can assign anything. Well, you can't make new polygons, but you can assign new polygroups. And then, like for example, you can now select the entire arm like this by just pressing Control and then like moving around like this. And like these kind of like surface details, you may want to like move it around, but usually it's just easy to like do that afterwards. Like it's not too hard to do. Like for example, if like you don't want to mask like this, and then like it's gonna be really hard to like move around like this. It's gonna bend your cloth a lot. So what you want to do is just like you move the arm first. So you move your innards first, and then you can do the cloth and the outer parts later on, and then move it individually. Yeah, so this is just a thing to keep in mind. And like for example, why I've separated this part and this part. Yeah. I think I just need to separate this part as well. Okay. So now I can just go through the legs and then hide them, hide them. Hide them, and then reverse it. Then now I can mask this, rotate, and then like move it around. It does take a bit of time, but like you get used to it like after a couple of like times. It's better than like creating them and then like you need to pose them after like getting all the shapes again done like individually. And you're gonna change them anyways. Like for example, you just need to like have the patience to do so. Like this. And I'm basically thinking about having her left leg up and the opposite arm doing something like this, but I don't know. It's better to pre-plan your poses first. But yeah, I was planning a couple of poses, but like I didn't like any of them. That was my issue with the pre-planning process. I want to make her sit down somewhere and like basically have a kind of like attitude look. What is a good inspiration? I don't know. What is a good inspiration? Well, for me, like, I think good inspiration is like it really, for me, it comes naturally. It doesn't like I don't really need to seek any inspirations, like so like I don't really need to like seek inspirations when I'm doing things. Like I don't know, it comes to mind. Like I don't really need to like look into some things to get some inspiration or like what I feel like. I don't really need to seek things that interest me. Like I do have a couple of like books around me. Like I read books, I read articles, I read interviews, I look at like YouTube videos, and then if I get some like interesting facts and stuff like those, I just like memorize them, and then from that like I can think about a couple of things or like what kind of the design I want to implement, and then it really comes naturally after that. But I do sometimes like collect references because I don't want to like have a different kind of like design and then like get lost in like creating them. Like when I have one design, I don't want to like change in the middle of the design and stuff like that. So when I'm consolidating the design, I do have references. I don't know if that really answers your question, to be honest. It's hard. Like, basically, I watch a lot of things. So. Oh, well, if you have any questions related to ZBrush, ZBrush Core, ZBrush Core Mini, and something related to Japan, like, just hit me up. Like, I'll try to answer them. I'm lost. Oh no. I was planning to have a Coke in her hand at some point. I don't think I need to bend this one then. Well, going back and forth between the designs and like poses are really common, to be honest. I kept the history, so it was like messing up the snake hook. Okay. I don't like her arms much. Does the collectible industry in Japan pay well? No, because like it's the same for like game industries, but like if people want to do it, usually it's really competitive and it gets really cheap. So for like figurines, I don't really see people getting really rich out of those kind of stuff. Oh, there's a floating vertex. I just need to eliminate that later on. Is he doing this off of reference or from imagination? I struggle knowing what to design wise without reference. I do have a couple of like references. I'm using pure ref to check those references. So for example, I do have a couple of references like this, but most of it is like from my like past references or imagination. It's better to have a reference, by the way. Like, some people tell you otherwise, but like, if you look at the art, it's not really. I don't want to say it's bad, but like, it's. Nah. You always need reference. Yeah, just take a shot. Like, it just take a while to like get used to the sculpting. It took me a couple of years to like get the fundamentals, and like I'm still like learning. Like when people talk about like mastering something, there is no mastering something, right? So, um, so for example, like it's not like a skill tree that you can master the full entire tree of like skills. It's not like that. Like in real world, there's like infinite things you can learn, and there's no mastering things. So like when you see conversations like, oh, I want to master something something, and then do something after that, like no dude, you're not gonna master anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's always practice, practice, practice. Posing. I kind of hate posing. Like, it takes a long time to get used to. And it's just basically hard to get the posing correct and make a cool pose out of it. Yeah, everything. Like, you mentioned all of the things I try, so you can't really just watch tutorials and you can't master from those. You can't just like read books and like master ZBrush. It's not like downloading your knowledge of like karate or kung fu from Matrix and like learning. You need to go through the tutorials, try it, fail, then try again and be better at it, and then go from there. So you gotta try and then like actually absorb the knowledge and then put it into practice. So it's practice, learn, practice, learn, practice, and it's just like combination of those. And what you learn from is like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can learn it from your mentors, you can ask a friend, you can get it from tutorials, you can get it from the internet, all those things. I just did all those, and like, if there's some kind of like ZBrush tutorial, I just watch it and then absorb as much as possible and then put it into practice. Yeah, exactly. Like, you have to like go in head first, and then you'll learn. Like, you can't really learn from like putting you putting your arms crossed and like leaning back and then just watching. You can't do that. You can't really learn from that. Like, you need to like hold a pen and just go for it. Like, you'll be surprised at the amount of like tutorials the professionals actually like watch. So for example, another Japanese streamer, Sakaki Sakaki-san is like watching tutorials every day, and like, everybody who knows Sakaki-san will be surprised because like he is like seen as a master of ZBrush in Japan, and like, he's still learning things every day. And when people notice that, like they like start sweating because they thought, oh, there's nothing to learn if they already know something already. But Sakaki-san is still like watching tutorials on the internet and then still seeking knowledge. it's the same for like the artist who talked on ZBrush Merge. ZBrush Merge is kind of like the ZBrush Summit for Japan, and there was a person from software talking about talking about like stuff, and he does know a lot about ZBrush. And when I was like talking to him in the dinner, and like he noticed my name, my like screen name is Kisaki Aoi, and he noticed that immediately, and like he said, "Oh, I watch your tutorials," and I was like, "What? you watch my like shitty tutorials?" Yeah. Yeah. Cyborg is really good. Like, he knows a lot about ZBrush. Like some of the things I don't really know, and like he even talks about some like specific stuff he's like combining, and I don't. Some of the things I don't really come across, and like he like. It's obvious that he tries things and he spends time to actually learn and master things, but he doesn't think that he's mastering things. Like he just absorbing things as much as possible and practice. So you'll be surprised at the amount of like tutorials people watch, and like what kind of like hours they actually put into their works. And like if I ask the people who are like seeking to actually get into the industry, and like I ask how many hours do you actually sculpt, and they were like 2 hours a week and stuff like that. And I'm like, you're not gonna go anywhere with that. It's just like it's hard to like get a job with that kind of like hours spent on sculpting. Especially people love their work and love to do the sculpting. They just spend hours and hours like sitting down. Then if it's a pain to like actually do the sculpt, it's not really a job for you, I guess. But like I just like recommend to people just have fun. Have fun with sculpting first. I see a lot of people just expecting results from the get-go, and like getting fatigued after like a couple of weeks. But it's not like that. You just need to enjoy the process. Yeah, it is like playing a video game, and like it has a leveling system, but you can't really see the parameters. I hate that part, but like if I could like see the parameters going up, like I think I'm like sculpting the entire day. looking at the graphs and then grinding, but it's not like that. So you just need to see that in a different kind of like perspective. I don't know. The character creation menu. Yeah, it's like 100% character creation menu, but yeah. You don't have any sliders. Well, you do have sliders on the left side, but most of them are just full on sculpting. Like I played a lot of like MMOs, so like sometimes I like say things like putting reference to like MMO games like leveling up, grinding, and stuff like those. I think I can just like combine the entire leg and then go from there. Yeah, it's like when you're playing a new game, like you don't really expect like oh, I need to be level 100 by in like a month or like just a couple of like hours. You know, you're not gonna get that to the point where that like you can't. It's pretty much impossible, right? But like people do that in artworks, and like it really confuses me. Like you can't do that. Well, some people can do that. Like I've seen people just like drawing illustration for a year and like already in a god tier level, but usually when you actually look into it, like those people don't really have the experience. So if you compare to the professionals like doing it for like 10 years or so, they don't really have the like subtle details or like subtle changes in their like illustrations. So if they're required to do some specific task from the client, they can't really do it because they're not used to those kinds of like requests, and they will struggle. And like sometimes it's really hard for them to continue on because they don't have the inspirations enough. or they don't have any. We call them like shelves in Japan. Like you don't really have the like drawer. You don't have the stuff in your drawer to pull out the inspirations you need, and the people like who start really big, they really get bored and tired after a couple of years, and they just stop. They don't see the excitement to like in those things. Because they don't really know the like in MMO you have the fun period, right? Like you start the game, in the middle you have the fun period, like you have the entire like game to yourself, and then you have fun, and then you go to the grind period, which comes to the pain part of the game. But because those kind of person doesn't really have the fun experience in the game, they'll struggle because they are immediately going through the grind phase, because they are immediately level 100 or like something like that, but they didn't have the middle part of the section where it's most fun, and they get really tired because they didn't have the experience of the fun part. So I know a illustrator who is working professional, but he says the entire like drawing process is like a pain, and he doesn't like to do it unless he's getting paid. So I don't want people to have those experiences as much as possible. They just want like I want people to have fun in their creations. How can I group multiple subtools into one single subtool? You can just like mask. Like for example, you can because I'm using transpose master, and then I'm like combining the entire mesh into one and then posing it. So that's the reason why I can like select multiple subtools and then combining it into one. So I just need to like for example, I can do polygroups like this, and then masking, and then Control W to get the polygroups, or I can select multiple. Well, I can just like go ahead and like mask and then get the polygroups, or I can just go ahead and like select multiple polygroups and then Control W. That's basically it. It's nothing hard to do. So this is my entire head into one. So it makes it easier for me to like manipulate if I like want to pose the entire head like this. Well, I see people like seeing things really making it difficult to see, but like when I have the experience of like MMOs, I can just like reference it to the MMO and like analyze it from there. It's basically simple, easy to understand, I guess. Well, if those people don't have any experience with the MMOs, I think it's going to be hard, but I do need to adjust the hands, I guess. I don't really like the hands. How do you put a shader on a single tool? Shader? So basically you just need to like switch the materials. If you already assigned a material, you can't really do this, but if you like switch the materials and then, for example, you can use the fill object, like switch to draw, switch to M, which is material, and then you can just go to color and fill object, and then you're gonna have the material assigned to the mesh. And now if I want to switch to another material, I can just go to color and, well, this M enabled, and then you just need to press the fill object. And then what I did with the swapping the materials instantly is I already assigned a flat color, which means that you're removing the entire material information from the mesh, and then just like fill object. And then if you switch to another material, it just like instantly changes the entire material. So I usually don't assign materials unless I really need them, but like I can like instantly go ahead and assign a new material because I don't really have any materials assigned to it. Yeah, this is handy when you like know what you're doing. By the way, it's usually better to like pose it with just starting with a couple of like subtools and then like doing the details, but because it's a hard surface model, I'm trying to like move as much as possible all the parts in one go, but usually it's better to like not do that. It's gonna be like much more easier to just move a couple of parts and then get the initial pose and get the initial shape. Oh, 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 yeah. If you forget to like switch the brush setting to like to Z add and then just like forget to turn off the material, you're gonna have a couple of like hiccups like this, like where you don't have the mesh moving, but you have the material assigned and you don't notice. You just need to get used to it. I don't know if you know company Arc Systems work. Yeah, I know. But they can deliver real stunning animation visuals, almost as good as the real deal. Yeah, I know. They still use Softimage in their pipelines, and Maya. They are shifting to Maya recently, but I know they still use Softimage, and surprisingly, they don't really use ZBrush unless it's for some specific stuff in the workflow. Well, it's understandable, like you just need a particular mesh and then you don't need to like sculpt. What is the symmetrical details that you need after posing? Basically, my armor pieces is what I want to keep. These and the masks and those kind of like stuff. Or you can make them afterwards, but I just want to keep them. Yeah. I noticed in my room I don't really have any reference of like people sitting down like this. Like, I usually don't like to pose during stream because it's gonna be really tedious and like doing back and forth and like going back and forth between the reference, between the ideas that comes into mind and this kind of stuff. Yeah, so I'm like going back and forth between like putting the legs in front or not. Are you gonna print this model? No, I don't think so. Isn't the subdivision for the jacket a bit high for posing? I always struggle to find the sweet spot. Yeah. Well, because the jacket itself is connected in the back, that's the reason why it's hard to move it around. But you can just like switch to like, I can just go back to the transpose sub T and then go into individual and then tweak it afterwards. So it's not gonna be an issue. I'm gonna tweak it anyways. Like, what I'm looking for is just the general shapes. Like, for example, no, I'm already tweaking the pose for an hour. Okay, so what I'm looking for is this kind of like shapes. So is it like a triangle like this? Is it an S shape? Or is it a C kind of shape? And because she's more like an assassin kind of like position, it's more like a lot of curves and like sneakiness. I don't really like the hands, so I'm gonna like edit them afterwards. Okay. I think I got the general shapes. So it looks like this. Now I just need to like move the jackets around and change a couple of things. Usually the area like these are always going to get messy, so you just need to like reconstruct them afterwards. It's not going to be symmetrical anyways, so you just need to like tweak them around if needed. Well, talking about Arc System Works, I really like the character Baiken. So if you have any like favorite character from that game, like tell me. In fact, I played the original game I think it came out in like 20s. Like the first arcade game was really fun to play. Nobody really know the game until it was like the Zex series, which is the second one. And the first game, Baiken was a secret character. She didn't really appear until you completed the game without getting any rounds lost, and then you need to like finish the entire like arcade mode without getting like any rounds in a single like I don't remember if it was I remember you need to play as Soul or Kai, and then you can't really lose any rounds in the arcade. And Justice, which is the robot you fight against, is really strong as a boss, and it was a pain to like go through the challenges with that. Like, the second character I like from that game is Kurarobedi Jam, which is more like a Chinese dress kind of character. I like the design. Like, she's having a oolong tea tin can on her as a hairband for some reason. How do you come up with those kind of designs? Like, I'm baffled. Yeah, I like to use snake hook brush because for me it's easy to move around. Like, I can show you some examples. Like, if you use snake hook, you can do this. You can grab a lot of like surface and then you can move it around like this, right? But if you use move brush, it's gonna go straight. But like if you wiggle it around, it doesn't do the same effect, right? So for me, I'm like used to like moving the mesh around like this. So that's what I like about snake hook. It gives you a more kind of like organic look compared to move brush. It's gonna go straight. This is handy for a couple of things, but sometimes it's better for me to like just use snake hook. Like, you can move it around like this, but yeah. Yeah, it's doable, but not my kind of style. So I just use snake hook. You guys can test me on the Japanese culture knowledge if you want. Like, I usually know most of the games people talk about. Games, animes. And sometimes like I get really overconfident and get some questions about like some anime I don't really know about when it was like streaming like 40 years ago and stuff like those. But yeah, I usually know my stuff. How should I approach this? I think I could just remake the jackets. Like I really don't like the designs, anyways. That's basic as hell. Well, I like honestly, I don't really know the series that much compared to a Japanese kind of like fan who's watching the entire series. I followed it up with from the beginning to like I think it was Arabasta series, but that's basically it. Like I didn't really go deeper than that. When I was in junior high, there was some like kids playing around with One Piece references and stuff like that. So. Oh, by the way, I watched Evangelion, the movie, last week. I think it was last week. Last week. I think it was last week. I already got a couple of spoilers and like I feel really ruined. But yeah. I don't really like the jacket. I'm gonna start from scratch. Yeah, JoJo. Like if you look at like JoJo merchandises with the like the figurines made from like Medicus and stuff like that, they are using ZBrush. Well, it depends on the sculptor itself, but usually they use digital recently. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, have a nice day. I was thinking about like how to make some like cans or like drinks in this like sculpt, but like how about like having her holding some like drink like this and like slicing that into two? Could be interesting. Monster Energy colors? No. Oh. No, yeah. I just need to. I wanted to like use the fill object, not project all. Well, we'll think about it. We can just put some dummies. And her hand is like humongous. Yeah, 10% less would do. Salt? Why salt? For me, I like the Air Gear series, so I usually take reference from Air Gear and those kind of like poses. They're really dynamic in their poses. It's interesting to like replicate them. Allgrade does a really good job on his illustrations. Hi, is the brush move geo away from camera and does not constrain I don't know what you're saying. Move don't go away from camera and is not constrained to geometry surface. Oh, you mean the infinite brush? Infinite depth brush? If you go to the move, and then if you look at the move infinite depth, you can see that there's a like brush that doesn't really rely on the surface details. It penetrates the entire mesh, and then you can move the mesh accordingly. So for example, I'm using the brush like this, and then the opposite side is getting affected as well. So you can use infinite depth brush like this. So if you're talking about that, you can use that. Or you can go to brush depth and you can just enable infinite depth. I think he means something like move with alt. Oh, on the surface? No, not that. One on another brush directly moves geo away from the camera? Oh. You mean when you use move brush, if you use alt and then push, you mean this? It's not the camera direction, it's the surface normal direction. So if you grab here and then if you move it, it's gonna move towards the normal direction, and then the opposite will be this way. But since I'm like moving, like looking from the top, it looks like it's going away from the camera. It's not actually going away from the camera. Is that what is saying? Yeah, but move on still constraints to geometry. Yes, so there is no brush that goes in, like, you can't really move according to the depth of camera. Yeah, I don't have any ideas. Like, if you want something that doesn't constrain to anything, you can just like mask the area, and then you can just like assign a gizmo and then move it around like this as well. Like, you can do this. But there is no feature like that. It's hard sometimes when you like ask a specific feature, but usually there's another way around it. Like, if I can't see what you want to try to accomplish, it's hard for us to like get the like actual like feature you actually need and not the actual feature you want. Do you have a Discord? It's not my personal one, but like you have ZBrush Discord. If you search ZBrush Discord, Pixologic. You can just head to this link and then click on the pixologic.com/discord, and then you can just jump in. Do you have any tips for anime eyes? I'm really struggling trying to do some Dragon Ball Z characters. Do you use sphere as an eyes or just cavity to paint the eyes? Well, I have a good video for you. So if you look at this video, I'm the one just basically doing the sculpt, and on the other video you can see I'm making Dragon Ball Z kind of like style head in like 20 minutes, summarized into like 4 minutes, so you can check that out. I don't know how handy or like how useful it is, but like that's my method of like getting the heads done. Like, people tend to use the eyeball method for example, like having a sphere for the heads, but I don't think Japanese people use that unless it's for a doll figurine So if they are making a doll, because their eyeballs are really spherical, that's the like common way to do it. But if they're making something like a figurine, it's not their go-to method. Why do I keep on saying their method? Like, I'm Japanese, so our method, I guess. I don't know. I feel like an outsider when it comes to Japan. I don't know. Oh, sorry. I have to leave for 1 minute. Just give me a minute. Hey, I'm back. So I just need to swap my bandages. Yeah, like last week I injured my finger, and then I just injured another one, and then yesterday I hit my leg with my leg, and like my toe hit the nail of the other leg, and like it nearly snapped off my nail. I don't know why, but like I'm feeling really sloppy this week, and like I'm injuring a lot of like locations for some reason. Yeah, yeah, it sucks. It really hurts, and I really feel dumb. Like it feels really bad. Like it hurts, and like you feel really stupid like doing so. Yeah, like especially my right body, like like from here, it's really like clunky this week. I'm hitting a lot, and like I'm hitting on bookshelves. I'm hitting on like cardboard boxes and stuff like that. It sucks. Okay, I'm reconstructing the jacket. So I just need to get the basic shapes and then do some extract and mask and then get the basic shape done. Something like this. And extract. Just need this. Delete. Polish. And inflate. Black. Nope. Density. Oh. It was a polygroup color. Like, I was wondering why isn't it black, and it just turned out to be polygroup color. Yeah, I know the publisher for the Sculptor's book. I think they know they have a demand for overseas, but I don't think they want to like do the effort of like doing the translations. But I do think they have some like overseas stores selling those books. Let me see. I do think CD Japan has it. So here you go. Yeah, most of them have Instagram or Twitter accounts. Usually Twitter. Japan's like very famous for having a lot of like Twitter accounts. Usually the sculpting population is a bit more older than the like gaming community and stuff like those. So usually they don't really have a social media, or they don't really have a like web page. So it's basically Twitter. Huh. Yeah, if you go to like CD Japan and stuff like that, like you can see if they like ship it to your location. Depends on your country. Yeah, Takeya-san. I don't think he does. I don't recall if he has a Twitter account. I don't really follow them actively. Takeya Takayuki. He does have a Twitter account, but I don't think it's like. Well, here's Takeya-san's Twitter account. But he's more traditional, right? Yeah, I think you have. That's me, yeah. I don't really make it public, but yeah. I don't make it public because like I don't really like I don't want to like go the effort of like trying to translate everything for my post, and like people ask me to do it, so that's the main reason why I don't really like mention my like social medias on the live, but it like I think people are smart enough to point or pinpoint the stuff. Like for example, the video I posted was my channel, and that's for the English channel I have. I have another one which is basically in Japanese. Oh, close hole. Polygroup. Don't need this. Don't need this. Delete. Yep, ZBrush. Yep. Yeah, garage kits are it's not big, but it's popular. So so if you go to a garage kit event, the license holders are like friendly enough to like permit the license for 1 day only for the event only. So if you see a like fan made garage kit, it's licensed as an official garage kit for that specific day and event on location. So that's I think that's the huge difference between the Western garage kit and the Japanese garage kit. So Japanese garage kits, they are like literally licensed as an official kit for a day, and people can sell them on events, but they can't really sell them outside of the event, and usually that's really why it's pretty rare to see them outside Japan. Yeah, Japanese is really hard when you get into like kanji and the keigo area. Yeah, like basically we have like 3 languages in one. Like that's what I understand my language to be. No, I didn't have shoulders for her, right? Yeah, it was like this. I do want to like update my English side of YouTube videos, but I don't really have the time. I'm really like focused on my job, and like I'm doing my side stuff in Japanese. I wish I could do both at the same time, but like YouTube doesn't really like to like have 2 videos at once. So if I upload a Japanese version and then if I upload the English version, it's not going to perform well compared to the initial one I posted. So it's YouTube. Like YouTube doesn't like those kind of like stuff. Yeah, some of the language it directly come from like English, like fork and like knife and those kind of stuff are just like difference in like how to pronounce them, basically. It sounds different when you pronounce them in like katakana, but like some of the stuff like we call social medias SNS, which is just a build. Like it sounds English, but and people in Japan understand this as a no, not Japanese. They understand it as an English term, but nobody uses SNS in the Western countries, right? No, I haven't heard him like outside of Japan. And like those kind of like like specific stuff will really confuse you a lot. Yeah. I don't know where people come up with those kind of stuff, but yeah, it's pretty common. Like, yeah, we call social medias SNS. And I thought the term DCC tools were the same in those kind of like terms, but I've asked around, and DCC tools are sometimes used and sometimes are not totally like not used. So it really depends on like where you work or like where you're from. But like I hear people using that on like England production teams, but I don't really hear them in the US teams. Hey. So I need to combine these two. Combine, merge, and just using Dynamesh. And just like brute forcing my way to like get a hoodie. Oh, we call hoodies hood. It's just hood. It's not hoodie. Like, it's really confusing. Oh, thanks. Have a good day. Now delete Dynamesh. Oh, it's taking time. Why? I think I did something wrong. I guess I made a hole somewhere else, and like it's taking too much to calculate. I think I quick saved. There's so much quick saves. Yeah, I can just start from the get-go. Sorry guys, I just need to like restart. It's nothing. Like, delete hidden, wash by features. Change the colors. What time is the next stream? Global calendar. Oscar is from 13, so yeah, I have more time. Let me sculpt more. I was planning to end the stream on like 8:30, but like let's do for until 9 for in Japan, like 30 minutes more. Since I got the initial pose, and then just I need to get the jackets done. I think it was much more longer. smooth cloth. Yeah. I really like the smooth cloth brush because it's gonna like round the corners, even though it's open edges. So it's easy to make some hoodies and stuff like this, especially for like getting the rough shapes of the cloth. Besides under history, is there anything that affects auto-save times? I feel like every time update is lightning fast, but then gets progressively slower as the month goes by. Yeah, it's usually the under histories and yeah, it's usually the under histories and the stuff like you store inside your projects. Or like if you have your PCs all night and then like you don't turn off the PCs, the hard disk will get slower as you go on, so that might affect it as well. I usually just put my PCs on at all times, so sometimes I just need to like reboot my system occasionally. Yeah, if you have so much like quick saves, it might like eating up your drive size as well. No, maybe not, but like it was easier for me. Usually don't really want to have this kind of like connected cloth when posing, because it's gonna be really hard to like pose, or you just need to like split it into two and then like connect it at the end, but it's tedious, so I just deleted the whole thing, started by scratch. Usually there isn't a best way, like it depends on the situation and what you're aiming for. And for me, I don't really care about redoing things. Like, if it doesn't look good, it's better to just redo it. Like, it's nothing hard, right? I usually just start from scratch, to be honest. Like, I just start from spheres. So, I do have an example of me like sculpting, and like you can see that I'm starting from a sphere and then going through the entire process of like making the body, and then getting the pose done. Usually I do the pose first and then do the cloths afterwards, but depends on the sculpt. So I just go on to like make some details after it, and then like hairs and stuff. So if you want to see the entire process, I do have a 10-minute video of me just going ham on these stuff. I'm not here to promote my channel, right? Like, don't make, like, don't confuse that. But like, if I need to explain some things, and then if I happen to have a video that explains things well in my like channel, then you can go ahead and like check those out. It's all in Japanese for my channel, so sometimes it's hard to explain new things, but time lapse is not one of them. Thanks. I do want some more length on the arms, so I just need to like mask it and then move it around. Thanks. Yeah, I do see more Western artists like interested in like Japanese kind of like sculpts. I don't know why, but yeah, I do see a demand for it. Hmm. Yeah, like especially in California, like there's so much like imported goods everywhere. Several years ago, I don't like Japan's like anime was like it wasn't really exported internationally, so there's a huge difference in like couple of years, and like it's really interesting to see that happening. But like Japanese people don't really speak English, so, like they want to share it to like the Western countries, but like it's hard for them to learn the language, so usually it's really taxing for them. Recently, there was a book released by a Japanese sculptor, like teaching you how to speak English. So people are like understanding and like starting to recognize their demands and like needs for like learning another language, but it will take time, like definitely. But like the newer generation will definitely would learn to start speaking English because the world demands it. If there's a need for it, I guess they will need to adapt for it. But like in the couple of like decades before, like we didn't really need it. Like there wasn't a demand for it, so there was only a demand for the people who are doing the exports and stuff. Usually, if you can speak English like fluently, like if they can speak English well, they get a higher pay wage compared to the people who can't speak English. So I remember my like school teachers like telling me to do some like English or do some translations as a job, but I hated the idea. But now like look at me, like I'm translating the things really specifically for I want like I went to art school to become an artist. Now look at me, I'm like doing art and doing translations at the same time. So you know, you never know where you're heading. In my brain, I was never gonna use like the English skills I had, but like I ended up like using it naturally. I don't know. For some reason, like a twist in fate, I guess. Yeah, like yeah, it's lucky. Like it's interesting how like life finds its ways. Like it's weird. yeah, I don't like for me, like speaking in Japanese is really hard, and speaking in English is very hard. So I'm not really like I don't know, like I sometimes feel like I don't really belong anywhere. And like interestingly, like other people who are like having like the close like experience like me does like feel the same way. So they feel like an outsider from the Japanese perspective, but they don't feel like they don't really feel the Western side is their home at the same time. So they feel like they don't really belong anywhere. I think the anime man Joey said it perfectly. I think it was anime man. Yeah, like he's half Brazil and half Japanese, and he lived in Japan for a long time, and he speaks Japanese fluently, and he can like speak English very well. But he says that he doesn't feel like he belongs in Japan. Like, yeah, it feels like that. Yeah. Have you seen the works from Daisuke Mano? Yeah, yeah. I didn't really meet him personally, but like I know I know a person who's a fan, and like he's constantly asking me for those like details of the figurines and stuff like that. Hmm. Well, I do see a couple of people from Brazil. Is there a lot of like weebs in Brazil for some reason? Because like the lot of contacts I get from like the Western countries are mostly from Brazil and Spain, France. Not England for some reason. Not much England. And Canada and US is the biggest population, I guess. I don't want to say weeb in a like a bad term. Like it's just like the people who like Japanese stuff. Sometimes if I ask this kind of question, they usually answer, "I'm the only one who's like I know of in my country who's like this." Like, is it like really like? Hmm. Yeah, sometimes it's weird. I see a dot somewhere. What's this? What's this dot doing here? Oh, it's from this one. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I know there's a lot of like population from Japan living in Brazil. Like second or third generation now, I guess. Konosuba, yeah. Yeah, Konosuba seems big in the Western countries. Like, I think even the editor, like the Towaru's manga editor, like even said that Konosuba feels like there's a bigger audience compared to like Japan in the West. I don't know if that's true or not, but like, yeah, it does feel like that. Yeah, I think Brazil people are really friendly and like pretty active. I didn't know IR Sculpts was a huge anime fan, to be honest. I first saw you sculpting, I think it was Venom on the stream. I think I was doing a meeting on about the ZBrush Summit, and like I checked your stream, and like I checked on like Twitch, and then like just saw how many people were like sculpting at that time, and like I think I saw like 2 or 3 people, and one of you were IR sculpts, and like I put that on like screen and said like, look, we have people like sculpting on Twitch, and like why not do a sculpting competition and stuff like that. Yeah. That turned out to become like, I think it was like 150 person like actually doing the sculpt at the same time on the ZBrush Summit. So I think it turned out well. Yeah, yeah. There's people like, there were people liking the idea and like wanting to do more. So yeah, I guess there will be a second one, but I'm not sure yet. So I can't say for certain, but yeah, likely. Oh, I'm using this smooth cloth brush. This will like smooth the corners of the one-sided mesh. So if you, like for example, if you have a plane like this, which is one-sided, right? But if you use smooth on the corners, like this, like this, you can't really smooth out the corners. But like, for example, if you even have a detail like this, you can smooth out the details, but the corner parts are locked, right? But if you use smooth cloth, this one, it's able to do this. It's gonna like smooth out the corners as well. So this is a preset. What's the actual setting is that like if you go to the smooth brush modifiers, and if you check out the min connected, it's set to 1, but the normal one would be set to 3. So this is counting the points on the corners. So if it has less than 3, it's totally ignoring it. But if it's set to 1, it's like it's able to smooth it. So that's the difference. So this is the smooth cloth and the smooth brush. Okay. Daisuke, may I ask what you work with it currently? It's in the collectible industry? No, I work for Pixologic, so I work as a marketing manager. So I do marketing stuff mainly, but like recently I'm doing more testing than marketing, I guess. But yeah, like I do. Like I'm not a professional sculptor in any way. It's like I do a hobby sculpt, but like usually that's just my hobby. It's not my professional like job title. But I do some like sculpting, like I do some like image creation for the promotions and stuff like those. Yeah, it says there. It says Pixologic Daisuke, right? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm trying. Like I'm trying to improve my artwork as much as possible. Like Paul's sculpt is awesome. Like Osher's, like Pixelators, like sculpt is awesome. Like I need to like be on the same level or like more on the like more on the same level or like even more. So I'm trying to increase my level as much as possible. Like I'm grinding. So I do some sculpting on the weekends as well, but like it's on my personal channel, and like I don't really talk as much compared to this one. So I'm really silent. Like I'm just like totally like sculpting for 8 hours or 10 hours per day on the weekends, and that's basically it. There's so much like good sculptors in the world. Like I'm really pressured to get my like art game really more on the higher level than the current stage. So I'm trying. I'm trying. Like I'm a bit afraid that like I can only do one kind of like style like this. So that's my concern. Like if I can do more like photorealistic stuff and at the same time like more stylized like anime stuff, it will be cool. Like so I need to do some training to get to that level. Like I can't really do crocodiles or like animal stuff or like creatures. I'm not really fond in creatures. Like I can do hard surface, but if you compare to like the people who are specialized in hard surface, like I'm nowhere close to those. So. Thanks. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, I do feel like photorealistic is really hard. Like you need to like follow the reference as much as possible. Like you need to collect a lot of like anatomy stuff and like you need to like sample a lot of like things. For me, it's really hard, and like you see a lot of like scans in the industries, like scanning and fixing and adjusting to a specific design from that like scan. And that seems to be the trend for now. And like over the couple of like years, you see a lot of like trends go like disappear and come really quickly for photorealistic stuff, and like it's constantly learning. Yeah, it does feel like it's really hard to do photorealistic stuff. If the technology allows you to do it, like you need to learn new things as you go by. So. Mm. Yeah, likeliness is a different kind of skill. So. Like, I think it was yesterday, I saw a post on Zebra Central. If you go to Zebra Central and like look at the this one, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. This one is interesting. Like, it's realistic. The like face expression is really nice, and like he does hard surface really well as well. I don't know how he does this kind of stuff. Like it's so interesting. Yeah, it looks like a real person, right? Like you can imagine this kind of like dude. He looks friendly as well. Like, yeah, this is really interesting. Yeah, then like when I saw that, like it blew my mind. Like, whoa. Are you asking me, do I speak Espanol? No, sorry. Yeah, I did like learn a bit of Spanish, like uno, dos, tres, cuatro. That's pretty much it. I can speak up to 12, but yeah. Hey, thanks. Thanks for watching. Like, it's 9 as well for here in Japan. Like, I'll finish my stream. Like, I got my jacket as much as possible, so yeah. I'm going to end my stream. Oh. I didn't want this to change, this to change. Yep. Oh, let me do some, like, a bit of concept here. Like, I just need to, like, show what I want to do. Like, I want to do some kind of like juice splashing from the cans. I don't know, it's a black fluid or a green fluid, but maybe on a slight angle, like this. Maybe on the middle. Maybe pull it a bit more. Yeah, it's more like this, I guess. I'm not really happy about the face design, so I need to change this next time. Hey. Yeah, I'm gonna end my stream. Like, yeah, it's pretty much done for today. Maybe a black can. Oh yeah, it looks nice. Maybe more neon green kind of color. Yeah, I do have my own YouTube, but like, you can check my logs if you want. If you can't see the logs, then just search the term like this. Yeah, it does look like a wrestler, to be honest. Like, I don't know, like where he got the reference, but yeah, it does. Maybe slight gray. I do need to think about the designs of the mask. H polish, H polish, H polish. Why am I continuing sculpting? Like, it's hard for me to like stop sculpting. Like, okay, let me just get the rocks and then be done with it. Like, I got a question. How much is Dynamesh important in the ZBrush workflow? I find it a bit confusing, to be honest. Yeah, Dynamesh is just for making base meshes. So if you don't need to use Dynamesh, it's fine. But like most of the time, I just use them to make the like basic geometry, and then use DRemesher from the like a point where I can just start putting some details on top of it. It depends. Like if you already use like modeling tools like Maya or like 3ds Max, and then you already have the initial shapes, then yeah, it's fine to just start from there, and then you don't need to use Dynamesh. But for me, like for example, like I'm sculpting the rock like this, and I'm just starting from a sphere and then getting some kind of like organic shape out of it. Like Dynamesh is really easy to go and get this initial shape and then go for it. I need to have more references for the rock because it's gonna like look really not like a rock. It's just like a slime. So yeah, I need to collect some like rock from my back garden to get some like shapes there. And I need to like make some like interesting shapes for the hairs as well. Like it doesn't really look attractive now. For now. And I do need to like work on the like actual mechanics of this kind of like Mantis blade as well. Like it doesn't look really attractive now, so I'm gonna work on that as well. Like a couple of things, like mechanical things, posing. I just need to adjust more posing. Rocks, the sliced can, and the organic body parts as well, the face as well. Like I don't know, like I don't know how much streams it's gonna take, but like I guess like two or three more would be the right amount of like streams. When's your next Pixel stream? So next week will be the Japanese stream. I can show you the Japanese one. Let me show you. File save. Mantis. So on the Japanese stream, I'm making a mech girl. It's currently loading. So this is the mech girl I'm making. Last stream I did the posing for this one. So before that I was just making the symmetry and basically doing the same kind of like workflow I did today. And this will be shown next week, and the next week will be the continuation of the Mantis blade. And on the weekends, I'm planning to do some sculpts like this one, but it's not the Pixologic official stream, it's my just personal stream. There's a reference for this. Where did I put the image? Okay, so the original illustration is from the CD jacket from the Toaru series. Oh, why did I put this spotlight radius? No, opacity. Yeah, so this is the original one, and I'm trying to replicate that style of artwork like this. as much as possible. But because it's on the perspective, it's pretty hard to do. So I'm spending a lot of like time to actually get the initial shape and like shapes correct. No, it's not gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on Twitch, Kizaki Yaoi. But yeah, it's gonna be a different kind of like stream. I don't really talk on that stream. Like I'm just like simply sculpting for like 8 hours straight. So if you're expecting some like explanations or like questions to be answered, I'm not gonna do that. So it's only gonna be a chill stream, like just sculpting, like hardcore sculpting. Oh, let me just before I end the stream, like I just need to use the scale master to unify. Where was the last time you 3D printed? I just did it yesterday, to be honest. Like I had to do the 3D printing for my new model. I'm preparing for the Wonder Festival. So yeah, I did it yesterday. Not expecting Q&A. I just like to watch you. Like, okay, thanks. I'm currently doing the Unify because ZBrush works best when the size is 2, but currently I have more bigger size than 2, so like I'm scaling down the model to basically fit the size 2 aspect. Yeah. Let me just eliminate all the things I don't really need. I don't really need this anymore. Delete this. Delete this. Oh, one way to like eliminate all the things you don't really need, I can show you one technique. You can just use the macros, and you can just use delete unselected tools, and then you can press this. It's going to delete all the subtools, all the tools that you're not going to use, and then yeah, you got the result. So this will make your project a bit more lighter, and then you can just save this. It's better to keep your folders like in increments. So if you like, you can see I have like Mantis 1, Mantis 2, Mantis 3, Mantis 4, Mantis before posing, and then Mantis 5. So I just saving this to like Mantis 5. And this is going to be easy. How do you unify multiple subtools? So you can't really do multiple tools, but you can do multiple subtools. You can go to like Scale Master, and then just press ZBrush Scale Unify, and then it's just gonna like totally unify your entire subtool to size 2. So this is gonna be easy for you to change the scale when you like, because the entire mesh of this model will be the size 2. So if you set your export scale to like 80 or something like that, it's gonna times 2, then you have like 160 units. Then if you set that to 6 centimeters, you're gonna get 160 centimeters of a model. So this is gonna be easy. Okay, enough talking then. Thanks for watching my stream, and see you next time. Next week. Yeah, bye.